look at everybody presenting, even right here, and the visions are astounding, and their predictions about how fast those visions could become reality are breathtaking. But what I think the world fails to recognize, as Moore's law affects hardware, software, electronics, you name it. Now we have proteomics and genomics. What the world fails to recognize is we, as a society, are not only moving faster and faster and faster on some exponential track, but because society's gotten bigger and more complex and there's more anxiety, and just like as people get older, they get more reserved and more cautious than kids, our society is becoming less willing to accept change. Our society is getting more conservative. I mean, to get a permit to put another runway at a major airport can take 10 or 15 or 20 years. It used to take a matter of months before a city would just build an airport. The regulatory environment, the social environment, the fact that government in some cases has appropriately recognizes the unintended consequences of what we do can sometimes be pretty bad. You put all of this together, and I think the dichotomy of the fact that possibilities are evolving faster and faster and faster, but our willingness to accept the good is, if anything, slowing down, leaving this huge gap, which is in part why I started first. I wanted kids coming up in this world that will within a decade essentially be the innovators and soon after the leaders of the world, need to understand the power of technology and be responsible enough to know what is reasonable risk to take against reasonable upside and reward. But as technology has the potential to have a bigger and bigger impact on what we do, particularly our business and political and governmental leaders have to have more and more capacity to understand it. And ironically, particularly in the United States, fewer and fewer kids that are really smart are self-selecting to be scientists and engineers and inventors. The brightest of the bright tend to go off to business school, or the ones that decide to become political leaders came from backgrounds typically in law. And we need all those skill sets, but we need a really good balance, and more than ever, we need a whole generation of kids at least competent enough in science and technology to separate fact from nonsense. And if we don't do that, we're going to get what we deserve.